of course, Malaki is a constitutional lawyer, as I said. When it comes to civil rights as well, you can see the link between the Constitution and civil rights in Nigeria. And that is what made us call on Malaki again. In the constitutional review process, INEC, it is said, actually supports inmates' voting rights. So that's what we want to talk about. And it's part of the whole efforts to review electoral laws and the Constitution. So maybe the first question I want to ask, because when you hear that statement, INEC backs inmates' voting rights, you begin to ask, say, what does this mean? Who is an inmate? What is the difference between a convict and an inmate? Maybe we'll start from there.
I think it is very important that you want to start on that. But again, I appreciate TVC for having me this morning. INEC, in my view, is on point, spot on, regarding where we should be headed. As a nation within the Committee of Civilized Nations, or as one that aspires to properly belong to the community of civilized nations. Mm-hmm. Therefore, you talk about inmates in two senses. You could have, well, generally, an inmate is any person that has lost his freedom on account of either detention, incarceration, or what have you. In other words, lawfully. Lawfully. Mm-hmm. Well, lost his freedom. Lost his freedom. It could be unlawfully. Even within the federal corrective system. You become an inmate because you've lost your freedom, particularly of movement and liberty. Yes. By reason of your incarceration in a custodial facility. I knew the lawyers would find a number of more words to make it clear. We trade on words. However, you can say that there are categories of inmates. Okay. There's the very notorious ones, not because they are notorious, but the Nigerian system, justice delivery system, have made them notorious. They are there awaiting trial. And those ones that happen to be awaiting trial mates, I think they call them ATMs or something like that. You know, those ones that are awaiting trial, are they inmates as well? Yes, they are there. But inmate, once you are an inmate, you are inmate. You are there in the facility. Detention facility, custodial facility. Okay. You are an inmate. So you are an inmate. Others but not necessarily a convict. So that's the second part. Okay. Others are convicted inmates. What that means, or presupposes. In short, what it means. Prisoner. Prisoner. You know. Well, let's not say prisoner, because prisoner inmates almost similar. But once you are convicted, yes, do you not become a prisoner? Correct. Once you are convicted. So, you are a convicted inmate when you have been subjected to the crucibles of trial. Sentence have imposed on you, and you are serving, particularly prison terms. You are serving out those sentences. Yes. Okay. Judgment delivered. Sentence imposed on you, and you are serving it. So you are convicted. Okay. That is the difference. However, they are all inmates. They're all inmates. Yes. And what we're talking about now, the INEC backing or supporting inmates' voting rights, is it the same? Do you think it should be the same as they are considering it now? Do you think it should be the same for the two categories of inmates that you have outlined for us? So you could see the beauty of that clarification. Yes. Now, the law, and when I say the law, I'm talking about the supreme law, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, grants to every Nigerian. It didn't say inmate, every Nigerian, presumption of innocence. Yes. In other words, you are presumed innocent until you are convicted of any allegation, any offense. So if you are there merely as an inmate awaiting trial, the presumption of innocence inures in your favor. What that means is that you are, if as you are
as good as any other Nigerian that is out there.
That's right. That's right.
Even
if you are awaiting trial.
The law sees you as a normal Nigerian whose rights and privileges cannot be taken away from. So let's speak about the law very quickly so that you now understand why. Section 12, subsection AB, clearly, and I'm talking of the Electoral Act 2022. It talks about who can be registered as a voter in Nigeria.
Okay.
And says such a person must be a Nigerian. That's the first condition. 2, such a person must have attained the age of 18 years. It goes on in subsection C and D to say, except you are probably disqualified by law. Maybe you are now...
there are circumstances under which the law can disqualify you from these rights that you say are ordinarily inalienable.
So pending when that happens, INEC is right. Pending
to be backing...
Yes, because why? That constitutional right is a right. In short, sir, I've just mentioned the Electoral Act. If you go to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, which is another international, sub-regional legal instrument to which Nigeria subscribes, Article 13, it insists that every Nigerian, including somebody who may have been rounded up by overzealous security men, dumped in the prison, detention facilities.
Those unfortunate stories that we hear about from time to time.
I have done a case in Delta State. I can't forget this. A young man was going to the farm with his aged mother, and suddenly they were both rounded up, and the only excuse is that, well, look at this clothes you are wearing. It looked like the clothes that was worn by the armed robbers when we were chasing them 6 months ago. That was how his journey in correctional center now, because it used to be prison, Agbo. That was how his journey there for 3 years started until...
and that was not an isolated case.
We
hear so many stories.
Well, I have to file a fundamental right enforcement procedure here from Lagos, file it there. In less than 3 sittings, he was out.
Now, in that particular
Now, that
example,
kind of person who does not know why he was there, even if he did 3 years, which was sufficient for some people to graduate from a university, should not be criminalized, penalized, and denied access to this process that enthrones leadership. In short, the legitimacy of leadership is located in the participation of the people. You could talk of the validity. The election was held. It was held on the 15th of January. The legitimacy of it, which is by far higher than the validity of what was declared, inures in the participation of people. So any way and anyhow by which you exclude the electorates, qualify the electorate from participating, you are depleting the legitimacy quotient. Therefore, I make the point that by all means, it should indeed be an aspiration that every Nigerian, including those in diaspora. In fact, if you look at the Nigerian Correctional Act 2019 now, which is the act by which the name moved from prison to, you could see a lot of creative innovations that are targeted towards reformation, integration, and rehabilitation of persons who, unfortunately, in most cases, find themselves there. If these were the objectives,
even if you are a convicted